What it do? This is T Word with the Mic Check Podcast. Thanks for tapping in. Today we're going to be talking about Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford and the final press conference for their mega fight on July 29th in Las Vegas at T-Mobile Arena. Before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate that feedback. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and tap right into it. So this final press conference was a lot more than I expected. It got a little bit more spicy, a little bit more testy. Started off a little slow. First thing that happened, the fighters came out. They were introduced by the announcer, and then Mike Tyson comes out and they do a ceremonial coin flip to determine who's going to get to walk to the ring last. Terrence Crawford did, in fact, win the coin toss, and he'll make his decision if he wants to come out first or last at a later time. I thought it was if you won, you come out last. If you lose, you come out first. I didn't know you still get a choice. Like who's going to pick the ladder? Like, why even bother if you're going to pick to go first? You know what I mean? So I'm assuming he's going to come out last. But that being said, everybody gets seated. You finally get into it. Brian Custer was a host as usual. BC seems a little off lately. Not exactly himself. And there were some elements of the press conference I'm going to discuss here very briefly as we roll through. The first thing, he kind of went back and forth, introduced everybody, spoke on their accolades, had them get seated, and then they start to go with the questions, the quick fire questions from him. And he addressed Bud a couple of times, and each person was able to grab the mic. First, Brian McIntyre comes up, the trainer for Terrence Crawford, and he says a few things, throws his barbs and his jabs and whatnot. Got a couple chuckles from the crowd. That was cool. Obviously, it's about a 50-50 crowd in the arena where they were doing a coin toss. And then Derrick James comes up and he throws his shots at Mac. Basically told him, it's time to eat because he's already eaten all the food, basically. So trying to run that joke. It didn't land exactly, but we got what he was trying to say. And then the fighters got to come up. Bud got up and he got into it, with somebody in the front row in front of Errol's area, on his side of the stage. And they went back and forth, a lot of the N-word and this and that. And it seemed like I don't know if it was like an emotional or more of an aggravated. I don't really count aggravation as an emotion necessarily. Aggravation could be somebody really trying to push a button. That's not really an emotion, but I saw a lot of that coming from Bud, and I was like, well, why are you entertaining it? Because first he says we need to, like, as black people, he didn't say black people, but he's like, when we show up, we need to show them we can act right. And then he goes on to have a little tirade and a little back and forth with somebody that I thought was just not a good representation of the man that he appears to be otherwise. So then Errol gets his opportunity to talk, and he kind of approached it a little bit different and basically was like, well, y'all can go back and forth or y'all done. I'm not with that. That ain't the smoke I'm here for. And everybody kind of had the same sentiment that Terrence and Errol got to fight. So everything else is useless. Mac said that. Derrick James agreed. So it's gotten testy down the stretch. I know these dudes have been cutting weight the last week, so you can see it in their faces. Errol looked super aggravated, super tired. Like he was just over it. He ready to get to the fight, I believe. He's done a lot of press. Terrence has done a lot of press. Them dudes is over it. They're ready to go. They're doing the ceremonial weigh-in on Friday morning. By the time you watch this video, they've probably already weighed in, and they're going to do the actual weigh-in Friday morning, and then the ceremonial one in the afternoon. That's going to be televised with all the other fighters. But these dudes are going to make 147 pretty early in Vegas. So they're going to have just about a day and a half to really get their weight back to where they want to be. So I expect Errol to walk to the ring at a pretty good size advantage over Terrence. And I think Terrence is going to fill out to his comfortable fighting weight as well. But this press conference overall, it gave a little bit of extra heat. They got some good sound bites. There was a lot of stuff to talk about. There was even a thing that went on between Frank Martin and Keyshawn Davis at the weigh-in. And, Keyshawn is Team Bud, and Frank is obviously man down, Team Spence. So all of that together, it's just building the anticipation for this moment. I already ordered my pay-per-view, so I'm ready to go. I'm locked in for Saturday. Hopefully you guys do the same and support this fight because it's big for boxing and we need that. So these guys will continue to get in the ring and go toe-to-toe. So the best fight the best. BFTB, you heard. So we'd love to get your thoughts on this final press conference. What did you think of the back and forth? What did you think of what's going on? Did you also see that these fighters look really agitated? Like if they could fight today or tomorrow, they would do it. Well, today, basically Friday. So we'll see. But yeah, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments. And again, apologies for the late videos. I got other stuff coming. Just been a really rough week. Had some personal things need to take care of, but now we're back on track. So expect some really good coverage over the next few days. In into, up to, and through the fight, and even after, we're gonna cover this thing. Win, lose, or draw, I'm man down. Y'all know that Q is Team Terrence Crawford, so we'll see how that goes. But we boys on Crawfish on Saturday. We see y'all on the flip. This has been T, and I'm out. Peace.